Excellencies, leaders, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to join the discussion on SDGs in action. The 2030 Sustainable Development Goals and the Declaration of the UN Summit of the Future 2024 have set out the global vision, affirmed our common shared commitment, and created the momentum for the world to advance sustainable development towards the common prosperous future for our humankind. Like other nations, Vietnam attaches great importance to the Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs, and have achieved the 10 years ahead of schedule thanks to our enormous efforts. We are now fully committed to following through on the SDGs. From a poverty-stricken, backward country ravaged by 40 years of war, 30 years of embargoes, Vietnam has, thanks to reform policy, forged ahead to become the 33rd largest economy in the world, expanding 60-fold compared to pre-reform period. Counting itself among the 20 largest trading economies and emerging as a model for post-war recovery, reconciliation, hunger alleviation, and poverty reduction. Cultural and societal development remain top priorities, with strong support for social welfare. Vietnam has made significant progress in many SDGs, especially concerning poverty reduction, healthcare, and education. We very much appreciated the previous discussions on healthcare issue in contribution to achieve the SDGs. Vietnam's Sustainable Development Index, SDI, score ranks is 54th out of 166 countries, higher than the global average and second in East and South Asia. The poverty rate stands at only about 1.9%, according to the Millennium Multidimensional Poverty Index. On average, workers' income is growing at 7.4% annually. The gender gap in education and work has been significantly narrowed. Meanwhile, Vietnam's National Happiness Index has risen 11 places to 54th out of 143 countries. Given its new posture and growing strength, Vietnam is taking on an increasingly active in addressing global challenges with positive contributions at various multilateral forums. We are grateful for and appreciative of the effective support and assistance provided by the international community in our national construction and development efforts. Vietnam will seriously uphold its announced commitments, especially net zero by 2050. We look forward to the continued partnership and support from international friends in this endeavor. Reflecting on the past journey, Vietnam has gleaned several valuable lessons. First, persistently safeguard our national independence and stability. To build an independent, self-reliant, self-resilient economy that is deeply integrated into the global economy. Second, to harness national strength in tandem with favorable global conditions. To tirelessly consolidate national solidarity, unity, and also regional and international unity and solidarity. To actively mainstream the SDGs into national socio-economic development strategies, plans and target programs, and tailor policies to each locality. To drive scientific and technological development, innovation, and digital transformation, and to strengthen international cooperation, secure sustainable financing, and promote public-private partnership. Distinguished guests, the world is witnessing epochal changes, bringing both opportunities and challenges. Given this landscape, we have no choice but to embrace a new development mindset that is sustainable, inclusive, and innovative in administration and governance. A new action-oriented and breakthrough approach for sustainable development and a new partnership anchored in international solidarity, upholding fairness, multilateralism, and rooted respect for international law. Keeping this in mind, let me share Vietnam's perspective for delivering SDGs. First, peace and stability are the foundation upon which a prosperous future is built. We must ensure strict adherence to international law and the UN Charter. All disputes must be settled through peaceful means, all conflicts mediated constructively, and all confrontations replaced by cooperation and dialogue. We call on all nations to tirelessly strengthen solidarity, sincerity, and trust among nations, while upholding dialogue and collaboration. Second, transformative thinking is essential for building a future-ready world with a focus on digital transformation, green transition, and the reform of global governance. These decisive shifts will help countries, especially developing nations, strengthen their resilience, proactively mitigate risks, and accelerate progress. With strong commitment to advancing sustainable development, Vietnam is honored to host the summit of the P4G, partnering for Green Growth and Global Goals 2030 on 16th and 17th April 2025. And the 16th session of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in October this year. We look forward to your active support and participation in these events. Third, governments must take a lead in linking, mobilizing, harnessing, and effectively utilizing all available resources for development, tailored to each country's needs. Developing countries need an additional $4 trillion a year to hit the SDG by 2030. Meanwhile, investment in sustainable development has fallen 10% compared to 2023 and may continue to decline. We must prioritize allocating resources to where they are most needed for SDGs. Special attention should be given to comprehensive financial cooperation, financing for development, and support for developing least developed countries, especially through concessional loans, technology transfer, capacity building for green growth commitments, high-quality workforce training, trade and investment facilitation, and debt relief for poorer countries. Fourth, we must uphold international cooperation and multilateralism and adopt a global, inclusive, and comprehensive approach in addressing common challenges. It is imperative to enhance capacity, efficiency, and future readiness to keep pace with the changing world. Fifth, human beings must be at the center as a key actor's ultimate goal, driving force, and the most important resource for all policies and actions at every level. Governments must strengthen cooperation in developing shared governance standards and ensure that new technologies serve humanity, contribute to global prosperity. Distinguished delegates, sustainable development is a fundamental necessity, an objective trend, and a universal goal for all nations. Vietnam's overarching motto is not to sacrifice social progress, equality, nor the environment in pursuit of our economic growth. As such, we pledge to work in unity with other governments and the international community to accelerate the SDG implementation for future peace, stability, prosperity, and sustainability for all nations. Thank you very much, and looking forward to having you in Hanoi for P4G conference.